while in Baltimore, went to South Baltimore, school in South Baltimore, and South Baltimore. My memory ain't too clear.
So were you in the 5th grade when you came to Baltimore?
Yeah, 5th grade. That was junior high school then. Down on damn. Why can't I think of it now? I'm trying to think of it.
That was a long time ago.
ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but
So that was in South Baltimore?
huh?
In South Baltimore?
South Baltimore, and South Baltimore.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right.
It's a long time ago.
I can hardly remember stuff from my elementary.
That's Hill Street. They call it Hill Street School.
Hill Street School.
Yeah. And that's where we started going to school at. Pete and I, Colleen. No, I didn't think Colleen got up that far. But anyway, Pete and I started at Hill Street School, yeah. And we had a dog named Bronco.
Bronco. Dog.
We loved that dog.
Now, where was Clint?
Huh?
Now, Clint was the oldest brother, right? Clint?
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was still in Pocomo. He had come all together.
Okay.
See, but he might have been. Clint might have been on that truck. He
Okay.
sort of was quiet like
Mm-hmm.
Clint was.
Mm-hmm.
He loved to sing. Because we thought one time we'd come up like the Mill Brothers. Everybody wanted to be
The
Mill
Mills
Brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah. You remember those?
Yes, I do.
We used to, like, we're going to get on the radio and be one of the Mill Brothers.
And you ended up going into the Army, correct?
Not that soon. A long while
Later
before.
on. How did you end up in the military?
How did I?
Were you drafted or did you join the Army?
I was drafted.
You were drafted.
Yeah, it was 1941. That was in 1941. I was working in Baltimore at the Holstein Transfer Company, hauling freight. That's what the company did. I wasn't driving at that time. Finally, we moved up and started driving truck. Then went to Lucas Brothers for pictures, not pictures only, but outfitting pens, electronic things, not electronic. They weren't electronic at the time.
Did you, when you were drafted, when you were drafted in the Army, were you excited to go or did you not want to go?
I was drafted. I was drafted in the Army. You go in the Army. So I went through Fort Meade in Baltimore, and during that time, it's kind of touch and go, you know, black and white, that was different.
Separated, right?
Yeah, yeah. And when I went in, it was separated like that. And everybody was scared that because of being black, you know, things weren't as friendly as they thought they should be.
Should be.
So there was a lot of racial remarks and racial expectations. Some of them didn't even have. Once they got together and knew that we're colored, oh, that's way back then. Anyway, they were name calling and things like that. And everybody tried to dress like the kids dressed like they had a dress of their own. Even their dancing and singing were their own. Oh, there's so many changes. But anyway, we come through that. I remember when even there were times you get on a streetcar, you'd stand in the back, you know, in the streetcar, on the streetcar. Also, it wasn't no get back, because not like that. 'Cause you start a fight that time. But anyway, there was if a white sitting in the seat, they would try to hog the seat up so you couldn't sit on next to them and all that kind of stuff. This was involved in it. And they always wanted to get the front of the car and always make the remark, you black, get back, nigger, get back, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember that. And that would start a fight in a minute, you know. That's girls and men.
Llame a Consolidated Credit ahora. Llame gratis al 1-800-476.
Candy, you go to the store to buy a piece of candy. At times they won't want no black candy, you know, all of that time. Once it was like that.
Do you remember the newspaper article, Pop?
Huh?
The article where you, Clint, and Pete were all serving at the same time? I think you saved this, or Aunt Louise did.
Say what?
When Uncle Clint was missing in action. Did you ever
yeah.
see that?
Yeah, he was on Europe, and Pete was in Minneapolis. Yeah, you got Pete's picture.
It says there Pete was in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
And you were in New Guinea.
Yeah.
And Clint was missing in Italy?
Eddie, you said?
That's what the article said.
Déjame adivinar, estuviste en el equipo de concepto.
No exactamente.
Why it ain't good like they used to.
I know. But that was in the Afro.
Afro, yeah.
The Afro newspaper. You remember the Baltimore Afro?
Yeah.
How'd your mom feel about her sons being away? Do you remember what she was feeling?
Who?
Your mother. Was your mom when all of her sons? Cassie, your mom.
What about her?
Do you remember how she felt having all her sons in the war? and serving?
She was worried about you?
Was she worried about you?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Did she write letters? Did you write letters back and forth?
Yeah, but she never got a lot of the letters. She never got most of my letters. Because during that time, they had a strict banning on restricted mail. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want the position to give the position where they were or what they were
Yeah.
about and all like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the mail was censored. They would read your mail, that kind of
Beg
thing.
pardon?
They would read your mail, that kind of thing, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
When did you come out of the Army?
I came out of the Army, let's see, $1945.
When the war ended?
Yeah. I was just trying to think.
So you were glad to come home.
Huh?
You were glad to come home. When the war ended, you were glad to come back home.
Oh. You mean when we got back?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, come to think of it, I never dwelled on that at all. Anyway, when I went in the service, I was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. When I started going where the first camp I went to. It's called
Intenta pan, ¿cómo se dice?
I don't want to tell you no story about it.
That's okay.
That's why I'm
Fort Latterwood was a big camp,
Dos
big.
de
big fort.
Yeah,
hot dog. Sí, hot dog.
Fort Leonard Wood, big place out there.
Oye, vamos a salir de esto.
I ain't doing much.
No he estado seguro de algo desde la pregunta de paso mitad lleno, etc.
When you came back home from the war, what was your first job? Where did you go to work when you came back to Baltimore?
When I came from the war, I was driving for a Holstein Transfer Company, hauling freight. That's trucking.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of rigging work, real heavy work. Putting boilers together and bringing them in the factories and homes. And I did that kind of work for quite a while, and a job they call rigging work. That's real heavy. They built steam boilers for the jails and places like that. And I was involved in that. And that was right here in Maryland.
Heavy work.
Yeah. So doing that led me to other jobs that I was where it was racial overtones. But it wasn't really that bad but we made it bad because we wanted to go for any kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Excuse me, please,
Let him buy.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
You open the door for you?
This is my family.
nice looking thing.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not more comfortable.
Oh no, that's,
I had my own room before. See, this is why I'm like I am right now.
it's okay, Pop Pop.
It should be more less.
Pop Pop, you had some interesting stories of
Huh?
one time you told me you all made liquor out of the stuff in the warheads or something. You made your own liquor when you were in the army in the war in New Guinea.
Wait a minute. I can't hear you.
You made your own drinks and you washed and created something to wash your own clothes.
Oh yeah. We're in the service. You mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He did some of that, but that wasn't all that bad.
That wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is just to be away from home first time. You had to do everything for yourself, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the army did your clothes and everything, it's trouble to keep in touch with it. You didn't want nobody to take your stuff, you know. There was always some trouble there. But that's way back there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I'm not making much sense.
You are
No,
making
you are.
sense. You're doing
You're
good.
doing very well. We appreciate it
Mm-hmm.
very much.
You have any more?
Okay. So after I left Fort Leonardwood, next stop was Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. That's way deep down in the south. Camp Claiborne, Louisiana.
Was it hard down there?
Oh yeah. When I saw racial hate was down there, when you get on a train, a troop train, and you travel in the army on the troop train, you'd have to, the troop train in those days was so crowded that you'd have to, you'd have trouble them shipping you to different states. And they didn't want them to singular be together like that, you know. So it caused a lot of conflict. I'd have to, I was on a car, you know, I was a sergeant at that time. They were on the train and going through Georgia and places like that. They'd get up and take a newspaper, write colored on one side, black on the other side. Yeah, I have to say that segregation. That was deep segregation down south.
So they would have the whites on one side and the blacks on the other side.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's where it would be.
Did the blacks and the whites get along, or was there conflict? With the
They
blacks
they
and the
got along with it. Why, there was some fighting and some scrap. But the, we solved it ourselves. You know, there were a couple fights. But here we all there for one cause,
Yes.
and that's what I'm talking about. They they took them a while to recognize what it's going to be.
Yes.
So it was arguments and fights about that, name calling. I remember one time you couldn't have a decent car. They wouldn't expect you to have a decent car.
And if you did, they would bother you, wouldn't they? They would harass you if you had a nice car.
Yeah. You wouldn't get the job. you applied for a job, like my daughters and all. They, they wouldn't get the job. In some cases, now they have trouble getting that
Yes.
job, or that old racial advantage.
Yes.
Even with the black president?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Isn't that something?
It is. I'm telling you. That was only part of it. Part of it. I've seen people fighting and stabbing each other and everything else for a job or a position they thought they should have. So that's during the segregation things. That's what causes a lot of that in areas. If a black move in a block,
Yes.
they try to segregate that,
Mm-hmm.
You don't recall that kind.
Gotta wait here for you.
I do that a lot.
You're doing just fine,
I
sir.
don't have it one on.
Ah, you're doing fine.
The next time I'll see if it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I would like to